Hi, everybody. Today we are talking about self-criticism, particularly how we use it as athletes, why it's very tempting, why a lot of people use it, maybe not even knowing that we use it, and what the impact of using that is on us as athletes and on us as humans overall. So Doug's going to start us off with some of his own experience of self-criticism as an athlete.
A lot of experience. So I was a goalkeeper in soccer, and I played at a pretty high level, and I think self-criticism was something that I learned along the way was a really helpful tool for me to improve. So like I remember at some point, like if I'd make a mistake in a game or I'd let a goal in that I thought that I should have done better on, I would replay that moment over and over and over in my mind, and like fixate on the things that I did wrong, and how I was going to do it differently in the future. And there obviously was stuff to learn from a lot of those moments, but I would get almost a little bit kind of almost a little obsessive about it, where I'd like get drawn in more and more, in hopes that I'd find the thing to prevent it from happening in the future.
What makes that self-criticism rather than just kind of critiquing the moment?
I don't think I was able to hold like why I made the decisions that I made. I wasn't able to see clearly like, okay, here's what happened. Here's what maybe I wish I'd considered, or how I might think about it differently in the future. It focused a lot more on like the inadequacy and the things that went wrong, and replaying the like the brutal moments of it, rather than trying to really think about like, okay, what has happened here?
Sounds like it's kind of the way that we're talking about self-criticism is it's helpful to distinguish it from like being critical about a moment versus being critical of oneself, kind of full blanket, like I screwed that up, I made a stupid choice, what are the things that would play in your head?
You can't afford to make that mistake again. If you make that mistake again, you're going to lose your spot. Like, you don't deserve to be here. You shouldn't even really be on the field right now. That was sort of the language that would go through my head. It was actually probably a lot harsher than that, but
yeah, I mean, even just that was pretty bleak.
Fair enough.
And also, like, I know stuff that is very common, right? But if we like actually pause and say it out loud, it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well, and I would say that like I am prone to self-criticism generally. But there was a point in my sports career where I started to kind of leverage it for like actually almost believing that it was serving me in my improvement as a player.
Yeah, yes.
And so it almost became an active thing that I was doing after a game, trying to pick apart, every little moment, going, well, what if I'd done this differently? What if I'd done that?
Yes, yes. It wasn't just something that was kind of like running in the background, like you were doing it on purpose.
Right. And I thought it was something that would actually make me a better player.
Yes.
So let's talk about that a little bit. Like, why did I think it would make me better? Well, I think like the point that you highlighted, right? There is learning. Like reflecting on what happened does allow us to learn.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we think that, if we really, really like, if we squeeze as much possible juice, like if we just keep squeezing the orange, like more and more is going to come out.
Right.
And I don't think that's actually necessarily true.
No.
But there is a sort of like, okay, I need to learn from this moment. This moment's really important for me.
Right. Yes.
And so it does sort of masquerade as being constructive in a way.
The motivation behind it is I want to do better.
Right.
Which is in and of itself is not, a bad thing.
Right.
That's a thing we all probably want
Right.
as athletes, is
Right.
to learn and grow and figure out how to do better.
Right. But it's really easy to lose the person when we do it that way.
Yeah. Yes.
Which kind of, I think, transitions into the second thing that I was thinking about as far as like why I did it. And like, I think as athletes, we have this experience where at least we perceive that there are a lot of eyes on us at all times. Whether that's our coaches, whether that's our teammates, whether that's, fans or parents. And that those eyes, right? Like, we often think of them as being sort of judgmental eyes or evaluating eyes.
Yes.
And I think, for all of us, and especially for young minds, like, that is a lot of pressure and can feel really high stakes.
Yes.
And it's not much fun to be blindsided by like someone else being like, oh, you gave up that goal. Like, you definitely should have saved that goal. Yeah. And me kind of sitting there going like, well, I actually thought I did pretty well. And then all of a sudden the coach is like, I'm benching you because of this goal. And I'm just sort of floored by that. Like, that would be a terrible experience. And so in a way, by viewing my mistakes through the like most critical lens, I think it actually, in a way, was an attempt to protect myself from those sort of evaluating eyes and from having to feel like, okay,
for sure,
someone else is seeing all of my flaws. Well, I've already seen them, so there's nothing they can say to me that I haven't already seen myself.
Right. Yes. And this is a very, usually not conscious, but a very common strategy that we all use in all sorts of realms of life. To say like, well, if I say it to myself first, then it's not gonna
sting.
It's not gonna hurt as much if somebody else says it. And maybe in the short run there is some truth to that. Like, maybe if I say like, they're probably not gonna like it, and they say they didn't like it, then in that exact moment it's not gonna hurt as much. But if you do it over and over and over and over again, you are going to preemptively criticize yourself just in case so many more times than it's actually going to happen in life.
Oh, and it actually, in a way, makes it hard to believe other people, like,
if they do anything other than criticize you.
If they do anything other than criticize you. Because it not only plays with your evaluation of yourself, it plays with your perception of someone else. So if a coach, I bumped into this as a soccer coach, like, players come off the field and they're like, what should I have done on that goal? And I'm like, I actually, like, here's the decisions I saw you make that put you in the best possible situation to make the most likely, like, make a save on the most likely outcome. And some, like, total outlier happened. Like, you set yourself up for the, like, biggest probability to make a save in that situation, and it didn't go your way. It resulted in a goal. And I've had players that I think viewed me differently as a coach because they couldn't believe that I wasn't picking them apart the way they were picking themselves apart. And it was hard for them to understand, well, can he actually teach me something if he's looking at something, a bad outcome, a goal, from this lens?
Right. Yes.
And that goes beyond coaches. I mean, that goes into all of our relationships, which can be really challenging.
Yes. Yeah. And in the long run, hinders so many things. I mean, performance, for one, well-being in many other ways. Relationships. Belief in yourself. Yes.
So I think it does undermine us in a really significant way. I think the other reason that we do it is just because, like, that's so much a culture of sports, right? Like, there's, it's pretty easy to think of a coach or a player who really leveraged self-criticism. Probably it's harder to think of someone who didn't use self-criticism.
Yes.
And so I think that there is this culture of, like, well, do I even care if I'm not picking apart my performance in
Right.
some sort of like completely I don't know, over like, am I even looking at my performance if I'm not picking it apart in like a really over the top kind of way that questions me as a person, questions me as an athlete, questions me as a teammate.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's just kind of I think the air that we breathe sometimes as athletes, and yet it doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Yes. And it's not necessarily the best thing for performance
Right.
or for longevity or for overall happiness.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it is motivating. In the short term, it's extremely
Oh,
motivating.
indeed it is. I mean, and that's kind of that is the difficult thing, is that with a lot of things that we do in sports and otherwise, we take the shortcut.
Right.
We want the shortest path to the most immediate result. And a lot of things actually are very effective in that regard.
Right.
But that doesn't mean they're effective, like we're saying, in the long run.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about why it's effective in the short term.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about self-criticism, what we're really talking about is like shame. And shame is a very powerful emotion, one of the more powerful ones, I would say. Right. And shame is the sort of like, it is a feeling that kind of connects to like, not just like I played badly, but like I am bad.
Yes,
like
I'm a bad player.
I'm a bad player. I'm going to be isolated or ostracized or kind of pushed out of my group of people because of the thing that I've done.
Yeah. Yes.
And you can imagine that is an extremely, extremely motivating feeling, because that's the last thing in the world that I want.
For sure.
It really lights a fire under your butt to do something different.
Yes.
And so it kind of like, it drums up this anxiety, it drums up this like, you got to pay attention to this moment, you got to like learn from it so that it never happens again, because like,
for sure,
we're looking at the consequences.
For sure. And just physiologically, like it's very, like you're saying, it like wakes our brain up and causes us to try and focus and dial it,
right,
make it different.
Right. At least I think in the short term it does that.
In the short term.
In the long run, shame is kind of a toxic feeling.
Yes.
And it's one that I think we can only tolerate in our system so much.
Yes.
And when we start to use it over and over and over again, you can almost think of it like we almost become polluted by it, and we at some point like we crash.
Yes, 100%.
So this like source of immense motivation, all of a sudden stops working, and we feel like absolute crap because all we've done basically is improved our performance by just like by tearing ourselves down.
Well, and I think this is true for you, and I know true for a lot of athletes. They keep existing in this place you're describing. Like they keep performing, they keep playing, they keep, their career goes on, sometimes years and decades sometimes in this place.
Right.
What is that like? What was that like to exist in that place? Once you got kind of, the motivation focus part kind of wore off and you got more into the...
I mean, yeah. I guess in a way, I kept driving myself, or shame kept driving me more and more to be more focused and motivated. And it's not like the focus and motivation crashed, it's just that my relationship with my sport crashed, because I was frankly I got to a point where it was like, every game I was in fight or flight. Every practice I was like, I have to do this thing, otherwise everything I've worked towards is in jeopardy. Yeah. And so sport became like, if performance felt like life or death. It was no longer like, okay, I'm doing this to improve. It was like, I'm doing this to survive, and like there's a decent chance that that's not going to go very well in this game.
Yeah. Yes.
And I think that like the reality of it is like what it didn't allow me to do is like I couldn't actually think clearly in the moment, right? And so much of sport is about like taking in information and being able to like process it and make a decision and athletically respond in the way that we want to.
Yes.
And shame taps into a part of our brain called the amygdala. Amygdala sends us to fight or flight. And that actually takes our cognitive brain offline. So all of that creative problem solving that we need to do in sport, or you know, we need for the decisions that we're making to really evaluate.
Yes.
We actually lose that ability to do that.
It just becomes pure reaction.
Right. Yeah. And that's where I existed in so much of my soccer career was in this like, you know, really tight place where it wasn't about creative problem solving.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think it like, it just illustrates that like we as athletes, we can limp along in that place.
Yes.
Almost like indefinitely. But the cost
is tremendous.
Is extremely high. And we can even keep performing. Well,
in the short term, often better.
Yeah. But in the long term, even still, but we're limping along.
Yeah.
And I argue we probably aren't performing to the level we possibly could be if we weren't engaging with ourselves in the same way. Regardless, even if performance was the same, that our overall well-being and our overall relationship with our sport, relationship with ourselves, with our coaches, others, etc., everything else vastly improved.
Yeah. Right.
If not existing within this space.
I mean, if you think about sport and like your teammates and coaches, like those are all resources and they're creative resources, right? You hopefully can go to a coach and say, hey, like, how do I think about this situation, and be able to hear what they say and, you know, bounce your own ideas off of it and try it and see what happens and go, okay, like, did that work? Did that not work? What might I need to change? Like, all of that requires a lot of like complex thought, and it requires us to have a really nuanced perspective, and then like develop kind of like a methodical, specific pathway for development. And those are three things that we can't do when we're in fight or flight.
For sure.
Like our brains just, they are thinking about survival in the quickest possible way, not going, okay, this didn't work as well as I wanted. What might have contributed to that? How do I make that different?
Yeah, yes.
And I think that creative problem solving is why so many people enjoy sport. What brings them to sport in the first place. Yeah,
yes. I mean, and I think the other thing that you said about existing in that place of just kind of chronic self-criticism is that it completely eroded your relationship to your sport.
Oh, yeah.
That it became a source of immense stress rather than a source of joy and creativity and connection and fun. And all of those reasons that we do it in the first place.
Right. And that itself is very confusing when the thing that you love becomes something that you have such difficult feelings about.
Yes.
Like, when am I going to go and have fun again? When, you know, maybe tomorrow, maybe at practice tomorrow, I'm going to go and have fun again. And, and yet I had, and many athletes do, train themselves to kind of methodically self-criticize in a way that means that probably tomorrow's practice won't be fun.
Yeah.
Probably your next game, it might have fun moments, but through the lens of self-criticism, it's not actually, there's not joy, there's not creativity, there's not like growth and development happening. It's just all about, you know, trying to squeeze every little drop by using, you know, toxicity.
Yeah, I think a place that more athletes than not end up at some point in time in their career. I know that I myself have ended up there in some way, shape, or form at different times as well.
Right.
So, do you have anything else to
No.
add? Okay, so if you resonated with any of this, either as a player or a coach or a parent, we are going to be doing a follow-up video, a part 2, talking about
how do we do it differently?
How do we do it differently? Because we've just laid out that this is a pretty bleak reality, I feel like. And that's the bad news, but the good news is that there are different ways to do this, and you do not have to sacrifice your performance, you do not have to sacrifice caring, you do not have to sacrifice being critical. You just can go about it in a very, very different way that does not come with getting stuck in this place of chronic shame that kind of slowly sucks everything else out of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So subscribe, follow along here, so that you can catch that second part of the conversation.
Yeah, we'd love to have you join us. For those of us that don't know already, we're Doug and Christy. We are both mental health therapists, and we are the co-founders of The Whole Athlete. And The Whole Athlete is all about providing content like this for athletes on kind of the broader mental health realities of what it's like to be an athlete. So we hope you keep joining us and check out our other content, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye.